Hey folks, Hugo Rivera here with HugoRivera.net. Actually, waiting for my live to start also on Instagram. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Live on Instagram, live on YouTube. Cool stuff. How's everybody doing? Doing another FAQ as I promised. Yeah, bodybuilding FAQ, body sculpting, whatever your questions are, just go ahead and put them on the comments. Uh, there is Rudy, my man. How are you? Hope you had a good business day today. Oh, great, great, great. What else we have here? Baby Jim just joined. Awesome. Everybody, let's go ahead and hit wave. So I'm streaming over here. I'm streaming both in, let me see, both in YouTube and Instagram. So I have my camera from the computer here, and then I have my phone going. On your way to the gym. Wow, Rudy, you know what? You're beating me today because I was not able to go to the gym this morning, and I still owe an arms workout. In fact, I saw a couple workouts that I'm going to go ahead and grab. So thank you for those that posted the workout. I'm going to do one tonight, and then I'm going to do the other workout the next time, which is pretty cool. I like that. So yeah, cool beans. Well, kill out of the gym, Rudy. Stay focused, get those reps in, get the intention going when you go ahead and, lift the weight. Remember, lifting the weight is not just about moving the weight from A to B. It's about really contracting the muscle, really putting the emphasis, the intention on the muscle that you want to go ahead and train so you can get the maximum result without getting injured. Because, as a teenager, I almost blew my back when I was 19. And this goes back to, just ego lifting. Was doing 10 sets of 10 of squats. What's new, right? And I remember doing 4 plates on each side is what I was doing for the squats on my on my squat rack over here. And long story short, what happened is that by set 6, my lower back was pretty tense, to be quite honest with you. And what ended up happening is the fact that by set 9, I went down and I heard like a pop. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Ask me how. I lifted up the weight, I re-racked it, and then suddenly I had this pain that was paralyzing. It just put me on my knees, literally. I was on my knees on the floor. I couldn't get up. I just could not get up. These are my legs. This is my torso. Okay, I kid you not. And it was pretty scary. The good thing that came out of it is that I said to myself, maybe if I go ahead and buy me like an exercise ball, I can go ahead and start doing like some light stretching and things like that. And that's how I got into doing abdominal exercises with a ball that allows you to have the full range of motion. And anyways, long story short, I did my own rehab because, the doctor that I went to at the time wanted to go ahead and prescribe me with some painkillers, and I was not about that. So I said, you know what, let me go ahead and fix this myself. I have no idea how to fix it, but I will fix it. And something told me just work on your abs. And slowly but surely, after a couple of weeks, I was back straight again just by doing the abdominal work. But it was really crazy because for like a couple of weeks, it was constant pain. So again, the whole ego lifting just has to be out of the window, completely out of the window. So focus on your exercise form at all times. That's the key thing. A lot of people say, well, but you got to go ahead and lift heavy in order to be able to make the gains. And that is, first and foremost, heavy is relative, okay? What's heavy for one person is not heavy for the other. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I always suggest that you pick a weight that allows you to do the prescribed amount of repetitions following the perfect form protocol. for the rep. So I always say respect the repetition, because if you don't respect the repetition, then your body will let you know about the disrespect that you're putting it under by creating injury, because if you're just doing things haphazardly, there's a lot of momentum that gets involved. Example, people are like lifting too heavy on a simple exercise like a bicep curl, which should simply look like something like this. Okay, so you go down, you go up, you're contracting at all times, you're getting the muscle engaged, right? Well, the problem is that a lot of people go like that. So when you're doing the swinging, suddenly what's happening is that you're involving forces all over the place, and the swinging is hitting your lower back, is hitting your shoulders in the wrong way. If you're really lifting heavy, you could create a situation where your lower back gets blown, or your shoulder gets blown, or your tendons over here as well. Again, I've done all that stuff. This is how I know. So, as a teenager, I was pretty crippled. So by my own hand. But anyways, again, and when you think about it, right, look at the thing. You're lifting all this weight from A to B, but you're not putting the tension on the muscle. And that's the thing, by not putting the tension muscle, you're not getting the result. You're looking to get injured. So what's the whole point to go ahead and do that? Don't do it. Don't do it. You just go ahead and pick a weight. Say that, for example, like in my books, I'll do 13 to 15 repetitions of this exercise. Choose a weight that allows you to do the right repetitions for the 13 to 15, and that's it. Your last repetition should be the last repetition that you can perform with perfect form. If you're thinking immediately that the next one you may need to break the form, do yourself a favor and don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And how many clients I've had that, they violate that rule. And I understand, because, it feels good and you have all these endorphins going and you don't really feel the pain at the gym. It's funny because many times I've gotten injured in the gym and you don't feel the injury right there because you have so many endorphins that it masks the pain. But then when you get home and maybe you have a good night of rest and then you wake up the next morning, that's when you're all messed up. So super duper important to, again, choose the weight appropriately. That's how you choose it, based on, what your body can do. And for those of you that are starting, and you're like, well, Hugo, I have no idea what I can do. Well, that's fine. I get it. I was there. I've done that. What you do then is that you have to experiment a little bit and always err on the side of caution. What you want to do is that you want to start with that you think you can do, and go lighter. Your muscle is going to respond, okay, and you will get stronger over time, especially if you're following the right routine, okay. If you're following the good periodization principles, which basically means that you do like 3 weeks of higher volume and then 3 weeks of lower volume. And again, all that is spelled out in my books. You can refer to Body Reengineering, which has all that, or the Body Sculpting Bibles. Body Reengineering, which is my latest, has like over 2 years worth of workouts. So, just PM me if you want to know how to get it. I think I have some questions over here. Let me see. Jaime. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about my ebook. My latest ebook is Body Reengineering. I don't know if you have it. If you don't have it, let me know. Yeah, from Panama. Amazing. I love it. Hi, Helena. Hi, Alan. I already said hi to Rudy. Cool. And then over here on my YouTube Live, which today, finally, I was able to get this YouTube Live to go, because yesterday I couldn't get it to go, even if my life depended on me. That was pretty crazy. Jaime, no lo tienes. Pues si no lo tienes, me envías un mensaje. Let me go ahead and translate. I said, if you don't have the ebook, just send me a message. Me envías un mensaje directo y yo te digo cómo obtenerlo, ¿ok? Por aquí mismo por Instagram me puedes mandar un mensaje. Excelente. Gracias por estar aquí también. Espero que entiendas mi inglés. Déjame saber si no lo entiendes. So, here we go. Okay, cool. Let me see. I got some comments over here on YouTube. I think when you start lift as heavy as you can with good form for a while to build the base of your physique, then you can go moderate, and for most, no less than 5 reps with good forms, no heroics. Yeah. You're welcome, Jaime. Amazing. Thank you. Awesome. So, yeah, these days is very interesting. I don't lift these days any less than 8 reps. I just don't feel the need for it. I really enjoy the higher repetition ranges. A few reasons for that, because not only does it build muscle and help you to lose body fat, but in addition, if you train very fast paced, meaning putting exercises together, doing like giant sets, right? So for example, what's a good giant set? I don't know. Let's go ahead and talk about a leg giant set. Let's say we can do some squats, pressing with the ball of the foot to go ahead and emphasize the quadricep. Some wide stance squats, pressing with the heel to emphasize the glutes and the hamstrings, okay? And then we go ahead and do some lunges, pressing with the ball of the foot, and then lunges, pressing with the heel. That's a giant set. Say that you do the giant set for like 15 to 25 reps. What's that going to do for you? Well, it's going to do a lot of good things for you. Not only does it help you to stimulate muscle growth, because trust me, and research indicates, and I've always said this since I began, even when people were talking about, oh, you can only do like, heavy weights to build muscle. I always said high reps are going to build muscle too. And it's been proven scientifically. Okay. So the cool thing about high reps is that besides getting a killer pump, it trains your body to do things for endurance purposes. And you also gain strength at those repetition ranges. Okay. So these days, for example, I can pick up a couple of 95-pound dumbbells and I can rep them out 20 reps in the incline bench press or in the flat. It's no problem for me to do that, and then go to some weighted pull-ups for reps as well. So it trains you to handle high amounts of lactic acid in your body. Why is this good? What I've noticed in life is that a lot of tasks require you to be repetitive. Walking, for example, is a very repetitive activity. I love walking, by the way. Those that know me well, they know that I love walking. So, a lot of things in life are very repetitive. Example, let's say, so if you live in an apartment complex, like me, for example, you go and you grab the groceries from the garage and you take them all the way to your place. You could do it a couple of ways. You could either buy yourself a little trolley, or you do like me and you carry it. And so you build your strength up in the higher rep ranges, because suddenly you have the ability to not only carry heavy weights, but you can also do it. You can do a lot of endurance activity. So for example, even though I don't do any traditional cardio in terms of treadmill, elliptical, whatever, it doesn't matter. If I wanted to hit the elliptical tomorrow for 30 minutes, it's not going to be a problem, because my muscles are already trained for high endurance activity, because that's how I trained them, And like I said, I've years to a point now that, I'm doing relatively heavy weights with high reps. And that's how that works. And the high repetition ranges, in my opinion, also helps with the joints and all those things. I mean, like I said, back in my teenage days, I couldn't go like this because you would hear it was pretty sad. I was like, oh my gosh, on my knees, the same thing. I was like so stiff all over the place, right? From not training properly. And now that's no longer the case, thank God. It's like I stopped my ego lifting. Gotta check the ego at the door. I think from what I've seen in the gym, from my experience, I think women are very natural at training. They're very good at learning the form very well and practicing it perfectly. And we guys, I don't know, it's like seems to take us a little bit longer to learn to leave the ego out the door. Generally speaking, that's what I've seen in my experience. But yeah, so there you go. I covered a little bit about proper weight selection. I covered a little bit about training at the higher repetition ranges. Now, remember, those of you that know my literature already know that the way that I do things, I not only train in the 15 to 25 repetition range, I also train in the 13 to 15 range. I also train in the 8 to 12 range. 8 to 12 range is now my heaviest. It's the heaviest I go. I don't like to go below 8 reps, to be quite honest with you. It's like, to me, I just don't feel comfortable doing anything less than that. And that's just for me. Self-preservation is important for me these days. I want to keep on training forever. I'm not interested in getting injured, and just because I want to go ahead and prove that I can lift, 400 pounds on the bench or something like that. So, that's the ticket with that. Let me see if I have any other questions over here. Okay, cool. I had a question as well that I got yesterday, I think. It was asking, what do I think about low carb diets? I've experimented with all sorts of diets. I've done low carbs, I've done high carbs, I've done super high carbs. I believe that the best strategy is a strategy that you can go ahead and follow for life, So I believe in a more balanced type of approach. I think the only people I would recommend low carbs to is somebody that's really, really having issues with their blood sugar, and their blood sugar is really high and whatnot. I would probably recommend them like 2 or 3 weeks of low carbs, and then reintroduce the carbs slowly. And the reason for 2 or 3 weeks is just simply to open up their insulin receptors. Okay. By opening up your insulin receptors, then your metabolism becomes more efficient, because now once you reintroduce good carbs, what's going to happen is that the body is going to go ahead and utilize them so much better, because your cells are open, right? So what insulin sensitivity means is that your cells will open up the door to insulin, which will bring the carbs, proteins, and fats into the tissues. Okay. So if those doors are closed, then of course you're going to have high blood sugar levels, and then you'll have all sorts of other health issues, because your body is not being fed. You're eating, but your body is not really processing the food properly. So think of insulin as a delivery truck, and think of your cells as factories. Okay. When this is the case, when you have like low insulin sensitivity, that's analogous to the cells being closed up, and the truck comes, and the guard in the gate says, "No, you cannot come." So guess what happens to all the food that you just ate? More than likely, it's going to get stored. So that's what low insulin sensitivity, does. That's why your blood sugar is high, because you have all the sugar, all this glucose that cannot go into the cells to be used. So it's of utmost importance that we have high insulin sensitivity. So how do we do that? Well, we do that by eating the right amount of carbs, and by doing weight training exercise in a manner that increases it as well. Again, that's another reason for my high rep protocols. High repetitions increase insulin sensitivity. It helps your body to metabolize carbs better, So that's super duper important. It's important to have high insulin sensitivity, that you don't overtrain. So again, it goes back to the 45 minutes. You just got to do 45 minutes of training, because after 45 minutes, cortisol levels start to go up. Cortisol actually reduces, too much cortisol reduces your levels of insulin sensitivity, The other thing too is lack of sleep. If you're chronically sleep deprived, that's also going to have a negative effect on your insulin sensitivity. Okay, so keep that in mind also. I have a question here from Mr. Shane. Hey, Shane, how are you, my friend? Let's see. Hi, Hugo. Buenas noches. Yeah, buenas noches. To catch your video. My only question is, if I hit a plateau when bulking, do I just add more calories even if it comes in the form of fat or no? Okay, Shane, that's a great question. So here's the deal. If you hit a plateau when you're bulking, one of the things that I recommend is, this is counterintuitive, but I'm going to give you a trick. What I like you to do is that I like you to, for a week, just reduce your carbs by, I don't know, say 100 grams. Take 100 grams of carbs off for 7 days. Okay. So let's say, for example, you're consuming 300. Well, then I want you to take 200. Of course, your body weight is going to go down. But then I want you to go ahead and go back to the baseline that you had and then do 3 days where you're doing 100 more. So say, for example, on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're going to do 100 extra above the baseline of carbs that you were doing before. That's going to get you out of the plateau. That's how you do it. And the way to add calories, best calories to add, if you're already doing 1.5 times your body weight, in this case, I'm talking about your body weight because you're bulking, so you could do that. So 1.5 times your body weight. If you're doing that in terms of protein, for carbs, it depends on where you're at. But, like I said, whatever baseline of carbs you have right now, I want you to go ahead and increase it by a factor of 100 grams for 3 days, for the Wednesday, the Saturday, and the Sunday. But then, like I said, before you do that maneuver, cut 100 grams of carbs daily from your program, so that in that manner, the body is like, it goes kind of like into diet mode. You go ahead and reverse back and you immediately change it. And then your body will start going anabolic again. So it's a really, really cool strategy. Okay. Makes sense? Awesome. Shane, you look amazing, by the way, bro. Like, you're killing it. Like, the years go by and you just get better and better, just like wine, bro. Keep it up. Sam 20 series says, hi, Hugo. Hi, Sam. How are you, man? Awesome. You're welcome, Shane. You're welcome. You're the one putting the work, buddy. So that is great. Shane is always looking top shape. Man doesn't age. We don't believe in aging around here, so we jumped off the aging bandwagon. There's no need. Gosh, if you look at, so some people that I follow, like Michael Hearn, for example, holy cow, guy does not age, which is amazing. Only gets better and better every year. It's just insane. And then, of course, my buddy Rodzilla, who I'm going to have to do some videos with him. Big shout out to Rodzilla. I saw him today, in fact. We had a little meeting talking about some projects, things like that. That's always great to see him. So, that was super short meeting, but productive. So, yeah, maybe doing some videos. So anyways, yeah, he's looking amazing as always. Rodney is amazing because Rodney, the worst case scenario for him would be 230 pounds of muscle. Usually cruises at 285, which is amazing. I mean, of course, he's like 6'1" or so, but still, I mean, to put it in perspective, Arnold Schwarzenegger used to compete at 235. So, which is, yeah. Oh, yeah, Shane, you know who I'm talking about, right? Yeah, exactly. 100%. 100%. So, yeah, I mean, that's, again, that goes back to the benefit of weight training. In fact, there's some research that indicates that weight training activates some genes that are anti-aging genes. So that's exactly the kind of activity that we want, And obviously that's the case. I mean, I feel better than ever right now. So it's just the way it is. It's like, and I'm meeting more and more people that are like, past 50. And they, number one, they don't look, are they older than 35? And number two, they're performing at levels that are like above and beyond what anybody could imagine years ago that one could be at that age bracket. Because at 50, back in the day, people were like, oh, well, you're over the hill, as they used to say, but not the case anymore. I think 50 is a new 30, if you ask me. Oh, Ron Graves, how are you, man? And then we have also Sunrise Dino. Hi, amazing. Let's see. On my YouTube, I don't know if my comments are working or not. It's all good. That's totally cool. No worries. Technical glitches, they're just like, it's just the way it is. You just got to go ahead and accept technology as it comes. It comes with many, many benefits, and it also comes with glitches. So you got to love both, I guess. My goodness. But let me see. Going back to the low carb thing. Yeah, for me, I don't believe in low carb diets as a long-term solution. I believe in low carb diets as a solution for somebody that has a low insulin sensitivity, so that we can restart the process and open up the cells so that the cells accept the insulin. And then, once the cells can accept the insulin, then your metabolism improves, right? So that's the only way that I will go ahead and, recommend low carb diet, So, that's that. Obviously, what do I think of fats? Yeah, well, I think you need your fats. I mean, you can't have a diet. Anybody is talking about eliminating fats or eliminating proteins or eliminating carbs, then they don't really, in my opinion, know what they're talking about, because you need all the nutrients. All of them are needed for your metabolism to function at peak efficiency. That's it, and for your body to be nourished. If you're missing nutrients constantly, well, you're going to age. Your body is just going to deteriorate. It's just that simple, So again, that's why typically when I'm recommending, it's like 40% carbs, proteins, 20% fats. Good fats, of course. Fats from like fish oils, coconut oil, avocado, extra virgin olive oil, some nuts, for those of you that are not allergic to them. I'm allergic to some. I'm actually allergic to peanut butter, believe it or not. It bloats me up. Doesn't matter if it is like organic, whatever, it just blows me up, which is sad because I actually like it. But hey, it is what it is. I'm grateful for the things that I can eat, which is actually quite a lot. I don't have a lot of food allergies, to be honest with you, luckily. But all of those are good fats. And then good sources of proteins are, chicken, turkey, fish, salmon, for example. What else we have for proteins? Egg whites, of course, whole eggs. That's another good fat, by the way, the whole eggs. I have whole eggs every single day. My cholesterol is totally fine. So yeah, as long as you're training properly, your body is going to metabolize the food properly. And then you're not going to be having these issues of high cholesterol or high blood sugar or whatever the heck else. All those things can be eliminated with the proper training, the proper nutrition, the proper lifestyle. You got to control your stress levels, do some meditation. For years, I had no idea how to do that. I didn't even believe in it, to be very honest with you. But then, I got started into it, and it's not something that came natural to me. It's something that I really had to hustle to learn. But YouTube has many, many videos, for example, on, meditation, and you can go ahead and check them out. I also love the Nick Ortner's muscle tapping app. That thing has completely changed my life. So muscle tapping basically is an EFT, emotional. What is it? EFT, emotional. I forget what the F stands for, but basically it's an emotional release technique is what it is, and it allows you, by following the steps that they give you, it allows you to release like negative emotions and things like that, increase your energy levels, help you to sleep, etc., etc. So that's something valuable, absolutely, absolutely valuable. So yeah, meditation has completely changed my life. It's really made me super peaceful in Zen. It has completely helped me to deal with stress. And again, all these things are super important, because if you're training properly, if you're dieting properly, but your stress levels are super high and you don't know how to control them, that's going to affect your sleep. It's going to affect your cortisol release. And that's going to have an effect, negative effect on your health, and also on your capacity to lose fat and gain muscle. Because if your cortisol levels are too high, what's going to happen is that it's going to make it more challenging for you to be able to lose fat, because cortisol protects fat. Excess cortisol does anyways. And then it eats up the muscle. And guess what? If you lose 10 pounds of muscle, that's 500 calories that you no longer burn, because every 10 pounds of muscle help you to burn an extra 500 calories per day just by existing. So this is why these days I need just so many calories to just keep things as they are in me. I typically consume between 3,000 to 3,500 calories a day these days, which is more than I've ever consumed. But it makes sense. It's like, with the kind of muscle that I have these days, it makes sense that I will consume that much. Just to put things in perspective, I'm like 5'4.5" and I weigh 187, pretty lean. So it's mostly lean body mass. So all of that, especially with the way that I train, with the high repetitions, with the heavy weights at high reps, I'm moving so quickly, then I'm burning calories, And then, like I said, I also like walking outside, not on a treadmill. Forget that. Like you can't pay me enough to go on a cardio machine. This is not gonna happen. So, well, I guess everything for the right price, right? But you get the point. But anyways, yeah, that's the ticket with that. Another question that I had. Let me see. Let's keep on moving because time is flying. Oh my gosh, already 33 minutes. I've got a few more minutes over here because I'm having fun. How much water? Got asked the question again. I covered this yesterday, but I'll cover it again. How much water? Well, most of your body out of water. Okay, so you gotta have some water. If you want to make it super simple, your bare minimum should be take whatever your weight is, cut it in half, so divide by 2, and that's your ounces of water. That's if you want to make it super simple. If you want to get a little bit more technical, you could do your body weight times 0.66, and that's going to give you a better number. I'm all for having a little bit more than less, okay? I'm not either about having, say, body weight times 1 in ounces of water. I think there comes a point to where your body can no longer use the water, so you just keep releasing it. So, I think 0.66 times body weight is probably where it should be. Certainly not less than half of your body weight in water, and make sure to consume it liberally during your workout. Like I've actually had questions from people asking if you had to drink water during the workout. I don't know where that myth originated, but it is not at all. Make sure that you stay hydrated as you work out. So, so that's on the water. Me think if I remember any other question that I had. Let's see. How to stay motivated? Yeah. Well, this is very simple. What's the reason why you want to be in shape? And this goes for anything that you want to do in life, like whether it is a business or whatever goal you have. Always ask yourself, what is the reason? You know, and that reason better be compelling enough to where you want to go ahead and do this, and you want to think about that reason every single time. I'll share my reason. Back when I started, I was not anything like this. I was actually obese. Yeah, surprise. For those of you that are new and don't know me, well, yeah, I was overweight. So I didn't like how I look. I didn't feel comfortable. I was only 12, believe it or not. I didn't feel comfortable with how I looked anymore. So I started losing weight. So my reason at that point in time was simply cosmetic. I didn't feel good at all with the way that I looked. And I always, I had a lot of like He-Man action figures. They were all jacked up. And I remember seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was like, oh my gosh, gotta look like that, So I lost the weight. Then I started training. And it was really cool because when I started training, I got hooked immediately because I really liked how the pump felt. I really loved to be able to lift the weights and all that. And it gave me a lot of confidence. So, back then, the reasons, again, were purely cosmetic. Now, interestingly enough, I discovered that as I was doing bodybuilding, I was becoming stronger, healthier. I really started liking how I felt. Took some years though, because like I said, during my teenage years and even during my 20s, I want to say that I was a mess. I had a lot of like I said, cracking joints and things like that. But, as I got to be more mature, basically it kind of changed. It became more of an art form. It became more also as like a form of active meditation. And what I mean by that is the fact that I get into a very heightened state. And as I'm just training and breathing, it's like almost like a spiritual experience. It really makes me feel good to be able to do my workout. It's a big win for the day. And that's why I like to do it early, preferably, because if I do it early, then I start the day with a huge win, and then the rest of the day should be a piece of cake, So that's those are my reasons today. My reasons today is just these days what inspires me is that I just want to keep getting better. I want to keep getting more endurance, more muscle in the right places, more performance, more health. Luckily, I have, knock on wood, very good health. So, and extremely good energy levels. So want to keep that going, obviously. So over the years, my reasons have changed, right? But back in the day when I was just getting started and it was purely cosmetic, like I said, I would always think of like, okay, how I felt when I was at my heaviest. And of course, I didn't want to feel like that anymore. So I would just kind of like trigger that in my brain whenever I wanted to go ahead and cheat on my diet or not do my workout or whatever. I will think about that. I don't want to go back to how I was. So that was my main motivation back in the day. These days, I don't know. These days, I'm just self-propelled. I don't have to think about any of that because these days I just love what I do so much that it just comes automatic for me to go to the gym, for me to follow my nutrition plan and all that. It's just something I do automatically, just like breathing. It's pretty crazy because, like I said, I remember back in the day when it wasn't like that, when I would like think about exercise, I'm like, I'm not the exercise type. Or I read a book and which is true. I mean, and to this day, I love reading, I love writing, as you all know, but the fitness is super important because this is our vessel, and if we don't take care of the vessel, then it's gonna age, it's gonna deteriorate, and then your quality of life is gonna suffer tremendously. So it's just not good. Not good at all. Take care of your vessel. That way, your quality of life will be amazing, absolutely amazing. And some people tell me, they're like, well, Hugo, it's like, your food bill must be high and this and that. That's really kind of like a misconception, to be honest with you, because when you buy food in bulk, actually your price goes down, to be honest. And truthfully, if you're eating like out all the time and things like that, that is way more expensive, to be honest. I've calculated these things. So, that's the whole ticket. It's, at the end of the day, a lot of people just want to go ahead and make up excuses as to why not to do something, which is fine, to each their own. I'm not judging. But, yeah, the other side of the coin is that if you want to use the excuse of, well, that's too expensive, well, what's really expensive is getting sick and having to deal with like the medical visits and the money involved, and then all the all the pharmaceuticals that they're going to pump into you. That's expensive to me. So, makes no sense. And then no quality of life either. So choose your poison, kind of. That's my argument for getting fit. Okay. So anyways, I think I've stayed here long enough talking. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night, but I have really enjoyed my time with you all. Thank you so much for joining. And I will be joining again tomorrow because I really, really enjoy doing these. So anyways, so much always for all the support. All of you are amazing. All of you are the reason that I've had an extremely successful fitness career. And I cannot thank you enough. Fitness became a love of mine since I was 14. And it was my dream to step on stage and win some bodybuilding contest and be able to write books about it and all that stuff. And all that stuff has been achieved. So, and more books are going to be coming, which is amazing. And it's super duper exciting. Shane, thank you so much, brother. You are amazing. You're a blessing as well. Thank you, my friend. It's just thanks to the amazing support of amazing people like you that I'm here. It's like, and that's why I share the knowledge that I have, whatever knowledge I have, because my thing is, if I can go ahead and make somebody's life a little bit better every single day, then that's a good day. I don't want people to go through the mistakes I've made, which I've made plenty. Like I said, at 19, I almost end up in the wheelchair forever. So it's a miracle that I can still walk. So anyways, miracles do happen daily. We just got to go ahead and pay attention to them, okay? Anyways, have a blessed night, everybody. Thank you so much for the amazing support. I love you all. And with that said, take care and train hard. Take care. Bye-bye.